Hey YouTube, today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on my Exceed Zombies deck. So we're going to go through the deck and then I'm going to show you a couple of combos that you can do with the deck and hopefully convince you that this deck is pretty good. So I'm going to start with the monsters here. 3 Zombie Master. So obviously this is one of the best cards in a zombie deck. Special summon zombie monsters from your graveyard. He's also got 1800 attack. So then we got 3 Blue-Blooded Oni. This is the reason I decided to make this deck actually, because his effect helps you special summon level 4 zombie types from your graveyard, and then he's level 4 and you got the one that you just specialed, so you can make Exceed monsters fairly quickly with this guy. So he's the reason that I decided to make this deck, and I think this deck has to run 3 of them. I was running 2 for a while. It just wasn't enough because there's some pretty good combos that you can do when you have 2 of them in your graveyard and 1 on the field. I'll show you that later in the video. So then we've got kind of like the Sangan of the deck, which is Goblin Zombie. When he's sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to add a zombie with 1200 less defense to your hand. So I absolutely love this guy. He searches almost all the monsters in your deck, especially Zombie Master, which is obviously your main target. 2 Pyramid Turtle. This guy's another searcher. When he's destroyed by battle, sent to the graveyard, you get to special a zombie from your deck with 2000 or less defense. So he's really good. Mezuki, obviously a staple for a zombie deck. If he's in the graveyard, you remove him from play, you get to special a zombie type. Also 1700 attack, and he's level 4, so he goes with the level 4 zombie theme, which is perfect. Do have 2 tuners in the deck. So that's 1 Plaguespreader Zombie because he's limited, and then 1 Pain Painter. So the tuners are both level 2. I only have a couple of synchros in my extra deck because obviously going for Exceeds is the main purpose of this deck. But these guys go well with the level 4s because they're level 2, and the synchros that I go for are level 6, so obviously 2 plus 4 is 6. So I do run 2 of these guys. We got 1 Bone Crusher. If you don't know his effect, it's when he's summoned by a zombie monster from the graveyard, you get to destroy a spell or trap your opponent controls. And he also dies at the end of the turn that you special summon. That's not usually an issue because he's in the graveyard, you bring him back with Zombie Master, you get to destroy one of their cards, and then you're going to Exceed with him right away. So he's not going to have to die right away after. So he's pretty good. He also has 1600 attack, so if you just draw him, you can put him in attack mode and run over your opponent's monsters, so he's pretty good. So 1 Shutendoji. This guy, I'm definitely going to be putting more of him in my deck when Lavalal Chain comes out, because there's actually a pretty sick combo that you can do with him and Lavalal Chain. So I don't know what I'm going to be replacing just yet, but I will show you that combo when Lavalal Chain comes out, and he'll definitely be going up to at least 2 in my deck, possibly 3 depending on how often I can get that combo out. So his effect is decent. You get to remove 2 zombies from your graveyard to draw 1 card. So Spirit Reaper, obviously everyone knows that he can't be destroyed by battle. He's a really good card. But with zombies, he just keeps coming back from the graveyard. So he's really annoying for your opponents, and he can buy you a lot of time. So the last zombie monster I have in here is Endless Decay. This guy, the best combo I love to do with him is first turn you set your Pyramid Turtle. They attack it, and this guy comes out, and his effect is when he's special summoned, you get to make his attack half of what your opponent's life points are. So as I said, if it's on your first turn, your opponent's likely still going to have 8,000 life points. He's going to come out with 4,000 attack. That's pretty good to get out on your second turn. So, I mean, I really like this guy. He combos great with Pyramid Turtle. So for non-zombie monsters, I got a Summoner Monk here. This guy's great with the deck. He specials a level 4 from your deck, so I mean, that's a free Exceed right there. Plus, I really like to special summon Zombie Master, and then use Zombie Master's effect to special summon another level 4, and then you got 3 level 4s on the field, you can go into something like Shock Master, so that's a pretty good combo as well. So I got 2 Veilers. Obviously, everyone knows what Veiler does, I don't need to explain him. I'm actually thinking about running 3, so if you guys actually want to leave some comments telling me whether I should be running 2 or 3 in this deck, yeah, just let me know, I'd appreciate that. So I also got a Gorz. Everyone knows what Gorz does. He can be a game changer. I just really love having him in my deck. I got a Dark Armed Dragon. So most of the zombies in here are dark, not all of them, but most of them are. And also you have a lot of graveyard control with this deck as you get to special monsters from your graveyard. There's a couple monsters that remove themselves from play, so you get to manipulate the amount of darks in your graveyard quite easily, making this guy pretty easy to summon. Okay, so this is going to be a little weird one. It's Blackluster Soldier. You may think, well, he only has 2 lights in his deck. He's only got those 2 Veilers, right? And obviously BLS, but he can't use himself to summon himself, so what's going on here? But the reason is this is an Exceed deck, and you exceed very fast in this deck, like almost every turn. So you got a lot of monsters in your extra deck that are light, and there will always be light monsters in your graveyard. I almost never have times where I draw this guy and he's dead because there's no lights in my graveyard. So I think that he is actually very useful in the deck, and obviously he's a game changer. So that's all the monsters I got in here. So for spell cards, 3 Book of Life. This is zombie type Monster Reborn. It's awesome. I always will run 3 unless obviously it gets hit, which it won't. So obviously I'm going to run 3 of it. It's Monster Reborn. Got 1 Foolish, mostly for Mezuki, sometimes for Plaguespreader, sometimes other targets, but mostly Mezuki. 3 Mystical Space Typhoon. I really hate getting Bottomless or Solemn Warning, so I'm going to run 3 here. We obviously have the Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, and Monster Reborn for your staples. That's all the spell cards. On to traps. Starlight Road. I do like to set my back row and try and bait people with Starlight Road. Plus, as I said, I really hate getting Torrential Tribute, Mirror Force, stuff like that, so this will protect against that. We got 1 Mirror Force. 2 Torrential Tributes. I'm a huge fan of this card. 1 Bottomless Trap Hole. Normally I don't run this, but since Solemn Warning just got limited to 1 in March, I use this as my second Solemn Warning, basically. So then I've got the 1 Solemn Warning now, and then I have Solemn Judgment. That's all the trap cards, and that rounds out the main deck. So your extra deck is very important in this deck. If you have a better extra deck, the deck will definitely perform better. So I'm going to go into mine now. 3 Number 39 Utopia. This guy's my first option normally, and he's light. So this is one of the reasons I have BLS in this deck, is because this guy, he will get on the field and your opponent will destroy him. Then you got a light in your graveyard to summon BLS, and you can pretty much win the game. So I really do like this guy. However, I'll probably remove at least 1 of him from my extra deck when Lavalel Chain comes out, because that guy is just going to be amazing with this deck, as I said before. So we have 1 C39 Utopia Ray. This guy is really good. For example, if there's nothing in your graveyard and you want a Monster Reborn something and you need a monster, then only Utopia is in there really. You can Monster Reborn, and then you can put this on top of Utopia. He also stops that really dumb effect of Utopia where if he gets attacked when he has no materials, he just dies right away. Gemnite Pearl. This guy combos really good with Blue-Blooded Oni because he doesn't lose effects when his materials get detached. Maestroke. Staple in most people's extra deck. He gets over so much stuff when he flips them face down and can run over them. Steelswarm Roach stops your opponent from special summoning level 5 or higher monsters, so pretty good in my opinion. Number 10 Illumiknight. Don't use this guy too often because he takes 3 level 4s to make him. Definitely going to be replacing him with a Lavalel Chain when that comes out. Number 16 Shockmaster. This guy is one of the bosses of my extra deck. I have a couple of combos that are going to spam level 4s on the field. You get 3 of them out in 1 turn. You can make him. And this guy, if everyone obviously knows what he does by now, he can really put the hurt on your opponent. So I do really like him in my extra deck. Violon de Sigma. This guy is how I get rid of my opponent's monsters if I don't really have any other way to do so. Special summon this guy and just take that monster right off the field and equip it to him. So he's very good. This is one of my favorite purchases for this extra deck. So then I got Shark Drake. This guy, if you don't know his effect, if he kills a monster by battle, he gets to special summon that monster in attack mode, and they lose 1,000 attack, and then he gets to attack again. So he's really good. He also has 2,800 attack. So that's for the Exceeds, but we still have a couple of Synchros in my extra deck. Arcfiend Zombie Skull. So this guy, he's kind of harder to make because you pretty much need Pain Painter to get him out. But when he's face up, zombie type monsters you control can't be destroyed by card effects. So it's an extremely good effect. It is worth wasting 3 of your zombies to get him on the field. He's very good. You got Revive King Hades. This guy is the main synchro I go for. He negates the effects of effect monsters destroyed by battle with any zombies that you control. So you can run over your opponent's Raikou or anything like that, and it'll just negate their effect, which is really good. And then lastly, it's just Stardust Dragon. I have Starlight Road in my main deck, so obviously you're going to want to special summon a Stardust when you use that card. Plus, you can synchro for him by using your tuner plus one of these 2 monsters here. And you get a Stardust out, so that's really good. His effect is obviously awesome. So that's it for my extra deck. And now I guess I'm going to show you some of the combos that you can do with this deck, and hopefully convince you why this deck I think is pretty good. So I'll do that now. Alright, so now I'm going to show you a couple of combos that you can do. So let's say you start with, you got a zombie monster in your graveyard so that you can use all of your amazing zombie effects. So let's say your starting hand, or any hand that you have, has some cards like this. So a Summoner Monk, any spell card that you can use for his effect, and just any rank 4 or level 4 zombie that you can use later for a Zombie Master's effect. So what you're going to do, you can just play your Summoner Monk, toss your MST out, use his effect, special the Zombie Master from your deck. Now since you got a zombie in your graveyard, you can go ahead and use Zombie Master's effect, chuck out that level 4 that you got in your hand, special summon that. So now you got 3 monsters on the field here, they're all level 4. Let's just turn that into a Shockmaster. There you go. So that's pretty good for just one turn to bring out a Shockmaster. Okay, but now, let's say instead of Goblin Zombie in your hand, I just used him as a general level 4. Let's just say that instead you had these 3 cards. So all I did was replace the Goblin Zombie with a Blue-Blooded Oni. So this time, you're still going to start off with your Summoner Monk. You're going to toss that MST, and again, you're going to special the Zombie Master. You use Zombie Master's effect, you're going to chuck out that Blue-Blooded Oni. You're going to special him. Okay, so now this time, instead of probably going for Shockmaster, you can exceed these 2 into that Gemnite Pearl I was talking about earlier. Now you're going to discard one of his materials with Blue-Blooded Oni's effect. And you special out that Zombie Master. Now at this point you can see that Zombie Master can still use effect. I don't have any cards in my hand, but let's just say that you did. Let's say that you have a Goblin Zombie in your hand, or anything that you can chuck out with Zombie Master's effect. Now you can go ahead and throw out your monster in your hand and special that. And now you can even go into another Shockmaster, but this time you also got a Gemnite Pearl with him. You could have even used a Utopia or something else that you want to use its effect, but I just used Gemnite Pearl as an example here. So this time you got 2 monsters on the field instead of 1. Instead of going for 3 here, you could have just went like this. Maybe a Utopia. And now this time you have 3 monsters. Your Zombie Master has 1,800 attack. This one's got 25 and 26. That's a good chunk of life points right there. So obviously you got a lot of versatility here. Then again, obviously, maybe you didn't want to go for Shockmaster. Maybe they have a big monster on the field. Maybe they're playing the Fire King deck and they have their boss monster out. You can't run over that with Gemnite Pearl because he's got 2,700 attack. Look at that, there's Violent Sigma. You're just going to steal that monster, put it right here, and then you got a free 25 off their life points and 26 off their life points right there, 5,100 damage. So obviously, like I said, it's important to have a really good extra deck so that every time you exceed, you're not just going for Utopia or Gemnite Pearl. You've got options like Violent Sigma or like Shockmaster, stuff like that. So that's just a couple of combos that you can do when you have Summoner Monk in your hand. Now I'll show you some combos that don't require Summoner Monk. Okay, so this time, as you can see, I have 2 copies of Blue-Blooded Oni in my graveyard. Now obviously, if you haven't played zombies before, you might not know, but if you have, you'll know that it's quite easy to get monsters in your graveyard in a zombie deck. So this is going to happen quite often. Now in your hand, I'm going to have Pyramid Turtle, Blue-Blooded Oni, and Zombie Master. Now Pyramid Turtle doesn't even have to be on your hand, but I'm just going to show you right from the start of this combo. So you're just going to set your Pyramid Turtle, and then it's your opponent's turn. So your opponent's probably going to attack it, it's just a face down monster. Pyramid Turtle dies, you get to use his effect. And you special a level 4 from your deck, so we'll say Shutendoji. It doesn't really matter. Normally you're probably going to go for Endless Decay or Zombie Master because they're your best. But just for this combo, just any level 4 will be fine. Okay, so they killed it, whatever. Now it's your turn. So on your turn, you're going to normal summon your Zombie Master, and this is where the combo really takes off. You can use your effect, chuck out the Blue-Blooded Oni you have in your hand, and special him. Okay, so first, you gotta exceed these 2. Go for Gemnite Pearl because you're gonna get rid of all his exceed materials. You don't want to be wasting his effects, and he doesn't have any, so that's why you go for him. Now you're gonna use Blue-Blooded Oni's effect, detach, then you go and get another Blue-Blooded Oni. Now you can use this one's effect, detach, go for your third Blue-Blooded Oni. Okay, so these 2, they've used their effect, so you might as well go into an Exceed monster. Just go for Utopia, doesn't matter, he's got a pretty good attack. Okay, now you can go with this one's effect. Detach, special. Then again, you go with this one's effect. Detach, special. I don't have any room, so I'm going to put them down here. Then these 2, they've used their effect, so go ahead. Just keep going. Here's another Utopia. Okay, so now you still got this one, hasn't used his effect. So detach, special. Now you can use this one's effect, although you have 5 monsters on the field already, so you might as well just go here. I don't know, let's go for, Steelswarm Roach, just to lock down their level 5 or higher special summons. So now let's see what you have. Oh, also this Utopia doesn't have any materials on him, so you might as well go into C39. So now let's see what you have here. That was 1 turn, you just pulled out 4 exceeds, and this is over 8,000 damage here. So that's an OTK, if your opponent doesn't have any monsters on the field. And even if they do, let's say, like if their monster has 1,500 or less attack, you can just kill it with Roach, and then you got 75 or 76 left over here that you're going to knock out the rest of the life points. So anytime you have a chance to get 3 Blue-Blooded Onis on the field at once, you're just going to go off like crazy. And that's why I say that you have to run 3 of Blue-Blooded Oni. Because you just simply can't do this combo with only 2 Blue-Blooded Onis. You need 3 of them. Okay, so this is going to be another variant of the one that I just showed you, where you have the 2 Blue-Blooded Onis in your graveyard and 1 in your hand. So like before, you're just going to go ahead and set your Pyramid Turtle. Okay, so then it's your opponent's turn. And let's say, they play something that would go in attack mode, like an Elemental Hero Stratos. And then they run over your Pyramid Turtle. It dies. So you'll special summon your Zombie Master from the deck. And then it's your turn. So on your turn, you can normal summon Shutendoji or just any level 4 zombie that you have. Then the Blue-Blooded Oni that's in your hand, you're going to pitch that out with Zombie Master. And you're going to special it. So then you'll exceed, just like last time, into the Gemnite Pearl. And then you'll use Blue-Blooded Oni's effect to detach and special another Blue-Blooded Oni from your graveyard. And then you'll use that one's effect, detach, special another Blue-Blooded Oni from your graveyard. So these 2, they've used their effects. You can go ahead and turn them into a Utopia. So then you're going to use this one's effect, detach, special, use this one's effect, detach, and special summon. Okay, so at this point last time, we turned these two into another Utopia, but this time what you're going to realize is your opponent has a monster with 1800 or less attack on their side of the field, and that's it. At this point, there's an OTK you can do. So what you're going to do is you're just going to turn these three into Shark Drake. And then you can go ahead and do this again, turn him into Utopia Ray. Doesn't really matter. So now what you're going to realize is once you get this guy off the field, this adds up to 5100 attack right here. So you need to do 2900 damage in order to take out all 8000 of your opponent's life points on this turn, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to attack with Shark Drake. So this will kill this. And then you use Shark Drake's effect. You did 1000 life point damage right there. So you use Shark Drake's effect. This comes back. But when he specials this time, he's going to have 800 attack. So you attack him again with Shark Drake. Now you just did another 2000 damage, and he dies. So you've just taken 3000 off their life points, and then you go ahead and attack, and that's game. Right there, 8100 damage. So that's an OTK you can do. That OTK works as long as your opponent has a monster in attack mode with 1800 attack or less. It actually also works with 1850, but there's not a lot of monsters that have 1850. So 1850 or less, you can do this. As long as you have the 2 Blue-Blooded Onis in your graveyard, 1 monster on the field, and 1 Blue-Blooded Oni in your hand. And I've used this OTK a couple times. It's really good. This is one of the main uses for Shark Drake. Although he obviously has many uses, you just bring him out and you can just run over a monster twice and do a big chunk of life point damage. But this is a really good combo that I found out that you can use. Okay, so that's going to be the end of my deck profile for my XYZ zombie deck for the 2013 March ban list. So I'll see you next time, where I think I'm going to be doing a deck profile of my Synchron Shooting Quasar deck. So I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.